Hello sunshines, welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Saturday, the 24th of September, 2022, and I am here to record an actual episode. What? Who am I? I'm glad to be back. So, I recorded a bunch of stuff that hopefully you will have seen already on a separate video, but if not, it's coming. I was recording things throughout the summer, just a little tiny bit here and there. So if you haven't seen that yet, just know it's coming. I also recorded a Yarny YouTube hop video, and I don't know if that is supposed to go up on the 25th of September or if it was supposed to go up last week. I have to edit it, and then I'll see when it was supposed to go up and if it's a part of the actual hop. Either way, I'm going to link to that video here, and in that video it'll have a link to the actual hop because I didn't have my ducks in a row. They were kind of scattered, but now I think that I might have my ducks maybe in a couple rows, maybe like in a line and then a group and then a line. Like, I think we're figuring it out. So I'm here. School is going better. In case you haven't seen any of the videos, I am the technology teacher at the school that I was a para-pro at last year. So that's different, full-time teaching gig. Yeah, it's a really, really big change, which means I have less knitting time at school. Although now that we're like, this will be the 4th week we're going into, like procedures and stuff are more in place. As long as I have a pocket project, I should be able to knit on it, which means I need to start some pocket projects because I don't really have one. I kind of do. So I have this mitten. That I'm making for my oldest, and it doesn't have a thumb, and I'm using leftover yarns from other projects. And if I can get this second mitten started, like cast on and maybe around to establish the pattern, then I could work on this mitten while I'm at school. And this mitten is based off of the World's Simplest Mitten pattern by Tin Can Knits. The yarn is Plymouth Encore for the purple, and then the gray is Cascade 220 Superwash. So yeah, it's worsted weight, and I don't know if the thumb is going to be purple or gray or if I'm going to run out of yarn on the second mitten because I didn't weigh anything before I started knitting it. Unfortunately, I left the other mitten at school, I think. Pretty sure I did. So if I can get that started on Monday, then hopefully next episode I'll have a finished pair of mittens. That is my hope, because I'm to the point now in the teaching and stuff where I think I can walk around and knit and stuff while the kids are learning. And I do plan on doing this sort of helical striping on the second mitten too. I'm going to start it out in the purple again, and then we'll see. And then maybe the thumbs will be a different color, or maybe I'll have enough of the colors. I don't know. We'll see what the second mitten looks like. The lovely thing is my oldest kiddo doesn't need things to match, so it's fine. And that will take me to what, like 3 pairs of mittens finished for Christmas. And I made so 3 kiddos out of 5, but I made 1 kiddo a pair of mittens last year. He paid me for them, so he gets the really fancy thrummed mittens. Nobody else gets thrummed mittens. So I'm pretty sure that I made for nephew, oldest kiddo. Pretty sure I made for my youngest kiddo. That might be a lie though. I need to look back at what I've actually made so far this year. I keep everything for holiday gifts in a bin, so I have to double check. And then niece. So I would just have to make mittens for other nephew and my sister, and then I would be covered on mittens for people. I don't really remember. I only kind of remember. I haven't knit in so long, like consistently knit in such a long time, like 2 months. Grief is weird. And if anybody thinks that like a major breakup doesn't bring grief, they're wrong because it did. So yeah, but I think I'm like coming to an okay place with that whole thing. In case you're new here, you will see me wearing the same outfit like every Saturday because this is my yarn shop uniform, basically. I have a t-shirt with this logo, and then I have a hoodie with a different Yarny logo, and that's just what I wear every single Saturday because it makes getting dressed really easy because I can just wear this t-shirt or that hoodie and a pair of jeans or a pair of leggings and be good to go. So, oh, this hat is super lovely. It is a sockhead hat that I didn't make. My friend made for me. I just hit my chest really hard, sorry. Oh, that sounded weird. She made it for me and I love it. I have a collection of sockhead hats, so you'll probably be seeing a lot of that this fall and winter and maybe in the spring too. Who knows? Hard to tell. But the thing that I have been working on a lot is what I wanted to be for my Yarny YouTube hop. This is the project that I wanted to do and should have been able to do, honestly, except that I lost all of my knitting mojo during the breakup. If you don't know what I'm talking about, rewind to self. My boyfriend and I broke up in July, middle of July, mid to late July, and we had known each other for about, my oldest kiddo just started 8th grade. We met when my oldest kiddo started kindergarten. We worked together, and then, but I was with someone else. And then I moved up here after breaking up with that person, and my most recent ex was like, hey, I like you. We should pursue this. And I was like, I don't know, I just got out of the thing. Like, even though we had been friends for like a year at that point, almost 2 years at that point, I was like, I don't know, I'm going through a lot right now. So we kept in touch, and then we got together. So yeah, I don't know, it was a long relationship. I've known him for 8 years, and then to, like, I don't know, now we don't talk. So that's really weird. So that's what I'm getting through right now. And I started this blanket project before that. I think I started it the month before that. So had I not gone down that madness and like depressive spiral, and yeah, if I hadn't gone down that, I should have been able to finish this project easy because it's, I think it's similar to the Garter Squish blanket by Stephen West, based on what other people have said on podcasts about it. I didn't use that pattern. I didn't use anything. I just kind of cast on what I thought would work based on like a gauge swatch for width. So let's show you this blanket in case that shop hop video, not why I keep saying shop hop because that's just what my brain goes to when I think hop. Yarny YouTube, seasonal Yarny YouTube video. If that didn't go up yet, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna talk about in there. So here's my blanket. Oh, I love it. It's all green scraps. Okay, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna hold it up from the other end so you can actually see how wide it is because I don't wanna accidentally take it off the needles. So, oh, you can't. Oh, you can kind of see. Let me back up. Let me move. Okay, so when it is blocked, because it's all superwash yarns, it's all sock scraps, it is going to be wingspan, and it is currently, can you see how long it is? No, you can't see how long it is. I'll hold it the other way. I'm being silly. So this is how long it is. Probably, I don't know, I think I'm close to half of the height. Sorry, I'm stepping on the edge a little and stretching it up because I know it's gonna stretch about this much. So it's like from my toes to like my underwear line, the bottom one, not the top one. What do we call that in polite society? It's like right at crotch level. I hate that word, but that's where it is. So I probably, let's see. It's probably halfway, maybe, yeah, I would say it's probably halfway, which last week when I showed it, when I recorded about it, it was about 40%, so that's good. Did another 10% this week. This blanket is being knit on, I have interchangeable needles, They're US size 10, 6.0 millimeter needles. And I am holding 3 strands of fingering weight yarn together, which is giving me all of this marled beautifulness. Love it. I love it so much. So one strand is like very small. Let's see. Let me reach in the bag. Oh no, don't fall, don't fall. Okay. So one, I made a magic cake, which I don't normally do, like ever. However, I went to the movies at one point with this, and I'd like to be able, I wanted to be able to work on this in the movies. This is actually the second magic knot ball that I made for this blanket, mostly because I was teaching last Monday, and the biggest cake, one of the strands is from the yarn from the advent calendar that I put together last year using yarns from my stash that were all green or green based. And my plan is to do 11 to 12 garter ridges of each one based on the gauge swatch that I made forever ago. Go back and check out the video, the Yarny Hop video. It's got all of the whys and stuff behind it. But one of them is that yarn, and I did 12 garter ridges, and then I still had an hour left of class, and I didn't bring any other knitting with me. And I didn't want to continue without having the new yarn, and I didn't bring the new yarn. I'm so out of practice at knitting that I am not bringing enough knitting when I go to things. I need to get back into the habit of like knowing how much I can knit in a given time period. So I'll get there, but I wasn't. So I had the bag full of minis, and I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm not doing anything anyway. Why don't I just make a magic ball? Because then I can just knit from it and not have to. Usually what I do is I just knit the mini and then tie on the next one, and then knit the mini and tie on the next one, because to make this, it took like 45 minutes to tie and wind and tie and wind and tie and wind, where normally I would just tie the knot. It takes, 15 seconds, and then just knit that next mini however it comes and not worry about winding it onto a cake. But since I had the time, I made the cake, and then I'll just knit straight from this and it will be fine. This is actually the remnant of the first cake that I made, and I was like, you know what, that looks like a really big chunk. Instead of diving for the next pause self, you're going ahead of yourself. So one strand is the advent yarn. One strand is like a little nugget of yarn, so probably 7 grams or less. And then the third strand is bigger scraps of yarn, so anything bigger than basically 7 grams. I'm not actually weighing, I'm kind of just eyeballing, but I got to this one and I was like, that seems like a lot, and I'd rather just tie on my next magic ball and go with it. So that's what I did, and yeah, I'm just gonna knit away on this. I will try to remember to put in a progress keeper so I can show you project progress next week. And I'm gonna check in with you again tomorrow, because one of my pen pals, P.S. if you're one of my pen pals, I'm woefully behind, but I have plans to write letters this weekend, and I've finished one. And the pen pal who I'm talking about right now does not watch. So she mentioned trying to crochet, because she doesn't, but we talk about like my knitting and crochet and stuff. And she mentioned trying to learn how to crochet because she really wanted to make one of the NICU octopuses. So I think I'm gonna make her one and send it. So I will check in with you about that tomorrow to let you know how it went, how it's going. Very rude Chinese restaurant. There's a Chinese restaurant right back there. Their kitchen's right back there. They might be about to do dishes. So if there's a pause, that's why. They're not actually being very rude. They're just, going about their business. So the other thing to check in about I wasn't knitting very much. I also wasn't reading very much. I know I recorded a couple of clips about what I was reading, usually as I was turning things back into the library, but it wasn't very much. But I am reading Every Day by David Levithan, which I actually read a long time ago. I don't remember. Back when I lived in Kentucky, and I've lived up here for about 8 years. Like, I moved back up here. This is where I'm from. Michigan's where I'm from, but Kentucky is where my kid's dad lives. So yeah, that's where I was with them before we broke up 8 years ago. Oh my gosh, I feel so very old. So very old. Was it 8 years ago? No, it was 7 years ago. We moved up here 7 years ago. Is that right? 6 years ago? I can't do the math. The time is so tricky right now. Okay, so my daughter, my littlest, she just started 6th grade. We moved up here right before she started kinder. So we moved up here 6 years ago. There we go. Time. I figured it out. I don't know if you can hear them with the water next door. I'm sorry if you can. Bear with me. I don't want to stay here all day. I want to go home. And it's after hours, so I want to go home. So I read this more than 6 years ago and loved the concept. And the first time I read it in one night. Like, I literally couldn't put it down. The concept is that the main character, who calls himself A, is a person, but isn't a person like this. Like, they don't have their own body. Every night at midnight, they switch bodies to someone else who's their same age. And in this book, A falls in love with somebody. Oh, and when they switch bodies, it's like nearby-ish. Like, travel time back to their previous body would be like a 4-hour drive maximum. Usually it's more like 2 hours. So A, who has no gender, inhabits this body of a guy, and the guy's kind of a jerk, and his girlfriend is like the sweetest ever, and A falls in love with this girl, and then spends the next X amount of days, like, trying to see her again and stuff. So it's a really interesting, weird love story. Because what do you do when you're in a different body every day and you fall in love with somebody? And it's like kind of like a first love scenario deal, and the concept is just so good. And I have not read it in a day. I think I've been reading this for, I don't know, a week, just because, again, like, my brain space is really weird, and I'm not reading like I normally do, and I'm not knitting like I normally do. I'm not doing a lot of things like I normally do, but I'm getting back there. I can feel it, like I'm getting there. I'm just not there yet. But I am reading this book, and I picked it up from the library. I don't normally reread a lot of YA books. I don't normally reread books in general. Like, there has to be a reason. And so there is a reason, because I found that there's a sequel and a companion to Every Day. What? So I'm reading Every Day so that I can read those other 2 books. And I am so excited. I'm so excited for them, which is why when I finished whatever my last book was, I don't remember what it was. I don't even remember if I really liked it or if I only thought it was like medium okay. Because I know that I've read at least one book over the summer that I like really resonated and I really liked it. But you'll see in those other clips about that book. And I think the next one, I I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I do remember. I don't think I talked about it. So, I think I forgot to record about it, record finishing it. So what I finished was Lore, which was okay. I'll put a picture of the cover over here. I don't remember who it's by off the top of my head, but I will find a cover photo and put it there. It wasn't bad. I think I was just trying to read it. Well, I know I was trying to read it because it was due back at the library, and I turned it in like 2 weeks late because I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't bad. I just wasn't in the right headspace, but I was kind of forcing myself to read because I wasn't really in the right headspace for anything. The concept is really cool. It's about a girl named Lore, and she is Greek descended, and the Greek gods every 7 years for 1 week fight against mortals, but they don't have their god powers. So they fight against mortals, and the mortals try to kill them so that they can have the god powers for the following 6 years and 51 weeks. So it's interesting. It takes place in New York. That's where this cycle takes place. And it's really good, really interesting conceptually. I just couldn't get into it. So that's the last one that I read. But every day I'm really liking it, and I'm looking forward to reading the other books. My goal is to finish this book this weekend. I've put it on my weekend to-do list. I'm on page 212. There are 322 pages. So at this exact minute, with a day and a half left of my weekend, I have 110 pages. Also, my plans for this weekend are crazy, and I don't know how many hours I think are in a weekend. More than I actually have, because I want to spend like an hour and a half cleaning and organizing my room. I want to do 6 hours of studying. I need to do lesson planning, which will probably take me 2 to 3 hours. I want to do some painting in my room, painting the walls. I'm not painting all of the walls all at once because it's my bedroom and I live there and I have a lot of furniture, so I have to like play painting Tetris. So I'm doing some painting, but not all of the painting, which of course takes time to actually paint, wash, paint again, then move the furniture back. Like that all takes time. I have letters that I want to respond to. How many hours do I think I have? More than 48. I definitely think that I have more than 48, right? Because I also have to sleep in there somewhere. Whatever. When I don't finish my to-do list, it's fine. Because again, I have no concept right now of how long things take me to do. Because I haven't been doing things. Like I've done a lot of stuff, but it's been like hyper-focus and specific interest based and not my normal routine. So I have to get back into my normal routine. I'm just not there yet, but it'll be okay. All right, friends, I feel like I'm rambling. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll show you some things tomorrow. I'm so excited. All right. And hopefully I'm back. I feel like I'm back. I feel like I can do this weekly thing again. I'm hoping. Good luck, me. See you tomorrow. Hello, sunshines. It is Sunday night, and I'm here to check in. So I just finished the little tiny octopus thing. Originally, so I didn't use a pattern for this, but originally I was going to make these tentacles longer, and I used a remnant from the remnant spin at the yarn shop to make this little guy. So yeah, this yarn came from the remnant spin, and I ran out of yarn on one of the tentacles. I got about 4 tentacles in, and I was like, oh, no way am I going to be able to make this. So the tentacles I made using 3 single crochets. I chained 20, and then 3 single crochets in each all the way back up, and then I took it down to just 12, and I still ran out on the last tentacle. So I just grabbed this little remnant from my scrap stash to finish off the octopus. There it is. You can see it's a little bit holy. I don't think it matters though, because I used quilting cotton, like the cotton batting for the inside, so there's nothing to pull out, and also it's fine because it's just going to be sitting like this. So I think it's cute. It's pretty cute. I'm not putting a face on it because I don't want to. I also picked up my nephew's sock. What? Yes, that's still on the needles because I barely knit the last 2 months. Most of my knitting went on that blanket, honestly. The one that I showed you on the Yarny Hop. So I did about 2 repeats, which is pretty good. I think I have 9 repeats to go, so if I can knock out 2 repeats, well, if I can knock out 1 repeat a day, I'll be happy with that progress. And each repeat is only 6 rounds. It should be doable. Should. I'm hoping. And then I've also been, this is less interesting, but this was a twin size sheet. And now it is a curtain. I split the twin size sheet down the middle, and I have one hanging up right there in my room. If you look really close at the top, you can see the stitching of where I made the loop. And now this stitching is going to go at the bottom. I was stitching with green because I'm painting my room that color green right on my thumb. Isn't it beautiful? I've been wanting to paint my room for, I don't know, at least 2 summers, and I finally got around to it. So I ran out of green, so I'm just going to finish sewing it in black. Nobody's going to know except for me, because who's going to be looking at my curtains that hard? Nobody. So I'm going to finish hemming. I think I'm about 1/3 of the way across, but I'm editing. I'm editing the vlog. The lost, I'm calling it the lost weeks of summer. So you'll see that soonish. So I'm going to work on this while I edit this vlog, actually, because that was going to go up first. And then the lost week footage, I'm going to continue lost weeks. I'm going to continue editing. Maybe tonight if I'm awake, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of tired-ish, but I think I'm not actually tired. I think I'm exhausted because I don't feel sleepy, but I'm pretty sure I'm just literally exhausted. So today I alternated doing schoolwork and cleaning. Like my break from school coursework was... Did I even tell you? I mean, I told you I'm a full-time teacher. Did I tell you how I'm doing it? I don't think so, because I started that the Friday after we broke up, and I haven't seen me talk about it in the footage. So I'm doing a self-paced course, and the first section was, I think, 97 credit hours or something, and I finished that in 3 weeks. And now I'm on a section that's 114 credit hours. I didn't work on it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't know. I didn't work on it for like a month-ish, somewhere around there. And sorry, I'll get to that in a second, what that interruption was. Actually, I'll just tell you now. So my kid's other mom moved in with us. So that's awesome. And I am really, really bad at hydrating myself on the weekends. I'm really good at it during the week while I'm at school because I pass by the water fountain all the time and I'm like, oh, my cup is not full. But at home, I just don't think about it. So she was making sure I'm hydrated. Anyway, I'm currently working on a section that's 114 credit hours, and my breaks, so I was doing 20 minutes of work, which basically took me through a lesson, 20 minutes of coursework, and then 20 minutes of cleaning in my room. And that was my break from studying, was cleaning and painting and moving furniture in my room. So I'm pretty sure I'm just exhausted.
but I'm not tired. So it is what it is. Anyway, let's turn you around, talk about some books. This morning I finished Every Day by David Levithan. Oh, it was so good. And if it was the first time I read it, I would have cried at the end. But it's not the first time I read it, so I knew what to expect. So I finished Every Day, and then I started Another Day. I'm only 13 pages in because, I was working on coursework and stuff instead of reading, but I am looking forward to it. So this Every Day follows A, and Another Day follows the girl that A falls in love with. So this is her side of the story. Are you serious? I love that. I love this so much. Does anybody else really, really love reading a different character's perspective of the exact same thing? I love it. I wish more authors wrote things like this. I love when movies do it. I love it. I'm so excited for this one.